Not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous before this, but thanks to this light, I can't really see you guys, so pretty comfy for that. Before I introduce myself, I'd like to start this off with a quote that has inspired me throughout my journey. In a song that is very dear to me, there's a line that goes, "Everything I'm not made me everything I am." And throughout this speech, I'd like you to think of what that means to you. My name is Abdullahi Abdi, an electrical engineering student from Somalia in their final year of study at the University of Queensland in Brisbane. As a Somali, we're known to be theatrical with our storytelling, so I'd like to paint a quick scene for you. Imagine being torn away from everything you know, forced to flee your homeland and leave behind the familiar sights, sounds, and smells of your childhood. Imagine finding yourself a place where everything feels out of sync, where the very air you breathe is filled with foreign scents and the sounds are not those of home, where the ground beneath your feet seems foreign and unsteady. As underwhelming as it sounds, that was basically me on my first visit to a library in Townsville 2013. I tiptoed my way to the entertainment section in hopes to watch some wrestling on the library computers. Oh, to be 13 again. As I approached the computer, I felt a sense of awe and trepidation. It was like staring into a portal to a new world, one that I knew very little about. I had no idea how to use it or what it could do. It was my first time seeing a computer outside the Spider-Man movies I watched in my hometown, but I was eager to find out. I tentatively reached out and touched the keyboard, marveling at how the keys felt beneath my fingertips. As I sat, the screen flickered to life, and I was greeted with a login screen. I typed in my username, and the cursor blinked expectantly, waiting for my password. I started to use the keypads on the right to type my password, but was up to no success. I couldn't write my password. In awe, I wondered, how did everyone else do it? How did they type their passwords? Why doesn't the keypad work for me? Filled with defeat, I marched my way back home to tell my older brother how defeated I was. And to my surprise, all I had to do was click the number lock button on the right, and all would be fine. All I had to do was read the keypad and find out what to do. All I had to do was ask anyone in the library for help. But my fear of talking to foreigners got the better of me. To me, this story sums up the thoughts of a new refugee in any country. But I can proudly say, with hard work and support, here I am presenting a speech written on a computer. Thank you, Mom. Like the other speakers here tonight, I'm here to share a few words about my experiences as a refugee. In 1991, the civil war in Somalia broke up, leaving its people to flee the war-torn country. My pregnant mother, my father, and 3 of my siblings left everything they knew in hopes to have a better future. They moved west and settled in Kenya as refugees, where I was born in Dagahle, one of the refugee camps, in 2000. I immensely miss my hometown and its rich love for people and inclusiveness. It was a different story for my older siblings. Leaving Somalia left them in a foggy mind state. The culture shock was an immense thing to overcome, and unfortunately, it led my parents to splitting up and going their separate ways. Due to the lack of a judicial system for a refugee in Kenya, my parents decided to split the kids between the 2 of them, where the youngest, me, and my eldest sibling would stay with my mom, and the rest of the kids would go with my dad. 5 years after my birth, my dad decided to move back to Somalia, which was a bit safer now than 1991. This left the 3 of us in the camps waiting for the stars to align and hope a Western government would let us into their home. But in that time, everyone in the camps hoped for America to accept them as asylum seekers. So imagine our thoughts when a small country in the eastern part of the world called Australia said they would take us in. We knew we had no one in Australia, but believed that luck was on our side, and with that, we made our way to Townsville in 2013. With this move, I faced the culture shock alongside my brother, as at that time, Townsville had a population of less than 40 Somalis. As a refugee, we would struggle with fitting in with people, with landing a job, with using public transport, and with asking for help. It was as if we were cut off from everyone. Neither my mother or my brother could tell a yes from a no, and I wouldn't know what to answer when an Aussie said, "G'day" to me. Here I started and finished my high school studies and landed an Outstanding Student in STEM scholarship at James Cook University. I then commenced my studies in the electrical engineering field. However, The job opportunities in Tanzania were limited. As time went on, we were tired of side hustles, and allowances being our main income. Therefore, as a family, we decided to move down south to Brisbane with a dream and a passion for a greater and more successful future. I continued my studies in UQ and was introduced to the Career Seekers program by a friend who was in the Career Trackers program. With Career Seekers, I managed to land my first internship with John Holland in their water treatment program, where I worked for a summer. A year later, with the help of Career Seekers again, I landed my second internship with EDL, where I currently work as an intern in the electrical team. Through Career Seekers, I gained a head start from other students in my cohort, and through these internships, I have made so many meaningful connections and see myself working in the energy sector in the future. With this passion and dream, I hope to land a graduate position with EDL once I finish my studies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end with this. Looking back at the 10 years of a struggle fitting into a foreign country, I am proud to say, here I am. 10 years ago, I was scared to speak the little English that I knew because of accents and slangs, but yet, here I am. 10 years ago, I was the quiet student who sat alone and was scared to socialize with others, but yet, here I am. To all my refugee brothers, sisters in here tonight, I leave you with this statement. A refugee is someone who survived and who can create the future, as everything you are not made you everything you are, because here I am. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. I would now like to introduce the keynote speaker for tonight. Nyadol Nyuan, OAM, is a former refugee and is the executive director of the Sir Zelman Cohen Center. She's a lawyer, writer, and an advocate for refugee and human rights. She was formerly on the board of Career Seekers and now acts as an advisory capacity to the organization. Please join me in welcoming Nyadol.